Mm.
Hi, Gail.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us on this unique platform. What a wonderful film you were able to put together. It's just amazing, amazingly inspiring.
Thank you very much. This huge crowd that watched it hopefully appreciated it.
Yeah, well, we'll be sure to promote it even after the film festival. Absolutely. And how are you now? It's been a few
Good.
years.
I wish I was still playing Pan. I mean, I started into this whole thing because I joined the group and started playing, and I was like 100 years older than everybody, and I didn't fit in any way, shape, or form. But they were very accepting. I worked at it really hard. I found it very, very difficult, partly because once you're past about 40, your brain doesn't memorize patterns the same way it does when you're a kid. And these guys were unbelievable. So that's why I just had to do something to record what was going on. And I found these great stories and so on. I sort of stopped playing for a while I was filming.
Hmm.
And afterwards, I went back to playing with them. And I was in just a small group of them. And it was great until COVID hit. And then it was kind of over because we couldn't gather anymore. So I miss it.
Right, I can imagine you do. Do you have a musical background out of curiosity? Do you have an interest in music or?
Really, that's interesting. I have like grade 10 piano. So I did piano for years and years. Then I kind of stopped when I finished high school and thought that picking up pan would be easy. It's not at all. I mean,
No.
the most interesting thing about it to me is it's one of the only instruments that's not arranged chromatically. So it goes C, D, E. I mean, it's all over the
Mm.
map. So it's very difficult to learn if you're counting on an instrument being chromatic, and most instruments are chromatic.
Okay, wow, that's fantastic. And so, yeah, so I imagine it would require a lot of dedication and commitment and a good ear, I would imagine as well,
Very
and
true.
yeah, and you know what I love? I love also that these youth were able to develop their sense of own leadership, leadership, community, commitment, follow through, agility, and create something that's really beautiful, and that will stay with their life experience, forever, I'm sure. And, and
That's
and likely help them to get into some of these schools, and to pursue their education, continuous learning. Can you talk a little bit about that? Some of the attributes that they were able to that you've showcased in your film that these youth were able to develop.
The commitment was the most amazing thing to me. I mean, they were there with a few exceptions. They were there by 9:30 every one of those summer mornings, and some of them were taking 2 and 3 buses to get there. So,
Wow.
and I also really credit their parents because I would ask them about that sometimes. They say, "My mom says if I don't get here, I'm in big trouble." So, and my mom won't let me quit, and things like that. So there were some wonderful parents who really, really believed in the program. But yeah,
Mhm.
these kids are now all, well, I think almost all in post-secondary education, which is great. They're
Mm.
attending universities and colleges. They're really quite incredible, but they know that it all has to do with commitment. And I will also have to say that both Heather and Cecil, the people that run the band,
Mm.
really stay on them. They don't let them get away with anything. And the kids learned that, okay, this is how we get something done by being really disciplined. So there was this huge lesson thing going on about life in general.
Yeah, it's so fantastic, and I would love to, in future have a dialogue with Cecil and Heather at some point because they just sound like amazing people themselves, in terms of their leadership and commitment to the program. So, quite fantastic. So, what about you in terms of your debut as a filmmaker, which is fantastic how you put this together? Um, are you looking to maybe create and write more films in the future, or what is your sort of trajectory there?
I think so. I mean, COVID interrupted again, but
Yeah.
I kind of have started into one. So in a whole different section of my life, I do a lot of volunteer work with a group called the Aphasia Institute. And aphasia is the condition that you have usually after a stroke, sometimes a brain injury, where your language is interrupted and you have
Okay.
a great deal of difficulty talking. And you may know of people who can't talk at all anymore after a stroke, or some of them talk in a very different sort of a way. They can't get their messages in or out properly. It's fascinating work. And this place that I do work with gets people back into life. So it says your life isn't over. Aphasia doesn't have to define your life. You can come back and live a very full life by just learning alternate ways of of getting your message across and teaching people around you how to get that message out of you. It's really, really cool. And we have all kinds of programs there where people are doing karaoke and they're doing book clubs and they're playing cards and they're having conversations. It's a really nice story. And so that's what I'm going to work on next, getting people to understand the story of how this happens. And again, I like feel-good stories. I like documentaries that, one, have a story, that they're not just information piled on top of each other, but a real story. And secondly, a feel-good thing.
Well, and very empowering, truly empowering. And it's so important that we get these messages out, highly inspirational. I myself had 2 near-death experiences in 2003, and it was heart-related. So fortunately, I didn't lose my voice, but I respect the work that you're doing and helping to increase awareness, on how individuals can help to feel empowered again in their lives, and move forward. And so back to this film. So what are your next steps here? You continue to promote. Are you somehow integrating this film within the Ontario school system out of curiosity, or what's the potential for sharing this film within the school system out of curiosity?
Well, my answer on that is, if you have any good ideas, I'd love to hear them. I've tried getting in there, but it's tough. It's really tough. Yeah, I've tried a few different angles on ways to get in there, including some people that were involved with PAN who were starting to work with the school boards. And I couldn't really find a way to get in. So if you have any ideas, I'd love to. I think there should be more of these programs in schools, because there's just some kids that are not going to take to the violin and the clarinet. They're not. But put one of these in front of them, and they're learning music before they realize it,
Yeah, and the diversity of, learning, about new cultures. And I love the diversity in your film. I just love the community that was built, over the years through this initiative as well. So congratulations. And I know it's a well-awarded film, and it's just amazing. And you're very inspiring, and I love your own leadership that's expressed through the work that you've done here. Is there anything else that you'd like to share, Gail, in terms of this film or to the audience?
Oh, really? I mean, I think you've picked out the key things about it. There's wonderful hope within this group of kids when you look at the diversity. And, I used to, because I was the age I was and I had a car, I used to be the roadie to a certain extent and drive the kids around. And I got to listen to great conversations between these kids. And instead of ethnic rivalry, it was so much fun among them. They're all teasing each other about their ethnic backgrounds and enjoying it and loving it. I mean, it was so fun to be a part of. And so bands like that, when there's a focus for an activity, people don't think about whether they are a certain race or not. They just focus on what they're doing and they have fun. So, I did, one thing I will say is I did get the program started up at one other school, which was really fun. Again, I was going into Northern, which is a high school here in Toronto, and helping to teach these kids. And kids were coming in from all over the school to try and learn this. Because, as I say, it's a little bit more fun maybe than playing the clarinet. They get to bang away on things and stuff. So I'd love to see this thing spread throughout the city. And I also think it would be great for summer programs, because that's when trouble happens among youth, when they don't have enough to do during the summer. So if things like this were going on in more community centers and things like this, I think it would be fantastic. So I would love, if ever anybody is aware of this film and wants to contact me and say, we know a way in, let me know, because I'd love to get Heather and Cecil and myself to push it through.
Oh, fantastic. And I do have some connections with the Toronto District School Board, so I'll see if I can help to create some connections for you there. And also, my 2 sisters are both music teachers, so we'll see. And they're very much looking forward to see your film. They're in school at the moment, but maybe there could be some kind of connection made there as well. So we'll see.
That's fabulous. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. Awesome film, amazing work. Thank you for putting it together. Thank you for your own leadership. And hopefully we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Great. Thanks, Anne-Marie. Thanks very much.
Take care. Thank you, audience, as well. Wonderful to have you join us.
Okay, thanks.
We'll see you again, okay? Thank you now. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Every summer, me and the band, the JK Pan Vibrations. We practice like for hours and hours every single day to just get this one song right for the competition.
We have to stand up all day in our lines, learn notes, play them accordingly, and that takes